The ascent of entrepreneurship has brought forth one of the most widely utilized and employed terms throughout business and finance: startups. A startup is fundamentally a little infant business that started with a thought. It is currently looking for cash flow and capital to develop and mature. Startups' business journey, practically like babies, needs cash to expand and grow themselves, test ideas, and build up a group. For funds raising, a startup should be valued, and accordingly, seeing how the startup valuation process functions are very significant for any genuine and committed business entrepreneur. A startup can go far when it has enough funding to build up its fundamental idea or concept ultimately. A startup without cash is bound to come up short. Hence, raising capital for your startup business journey is one of the most assignments you may end up putting resources into, alongside growing the business's technical side. Criticalness of startup valuation. While raising funds, every startup needs to go through a seed financing round in which an angel or seed investor pours in cash into the business thought. The funds administered into the business are consistently in return for a part of the startup's value and equity. It is significant to explain that valuation is critical in deciding the value a startup organizer needs to provide for the investors during the fundraising process. Essentially, on the investor's part, valuation holds incredible significance in helping them know the portion of the startup that they will get for the funds invested. Aside from equity profiling, startup financial valuation is a more significant amount of strategic planning that helps understand the organization's overall prosperity and well-being, regardless of whether the idea is feasible or has a lifespan. Furthermore, it allows us to investigate and explore the areas of risk, and identifying solutions to control it, make the business tasks more secure and beneficial. Elements deciding startup valuation. An intensive startup financial valuation brings about effective fundraising. While maintaining its financial value, investors and founders work sensibly and take a gander at the elements that decide the whole cycle of valuation. Cost to duplicate strategy. This startup financial valuation strategy requires some hefty due determination, as its principal objective is to decide the amount it would cost to begin a similar business without any preparation. The cost to duplicate technique is a sensible and very realistic methodology that questions the competitive advantages of startups. If the cost of duplicating the startup business journey is meager, at that point, its worth will be close to nothing. This way, if it is exorbitant and complex to repeat the plan of action, the startup's estimation will increase as the trouble increments. Goodwill. Startup originators with a reliable expert and professional background and image are more fortunate to procuring funds than unpracticed or new entrepreneurs in the business. History, experience, and qualification guarantee a positive image of the startup in front of the investors. Traction. It is one of the vital pointers in deciding the startup's value with no income or profit making. It is the quantitative evidence of knowing the company's growth and advancement, including the number of customers and sales produced with a low speculation financial plan. In simpler terms, traction demonstrates the startup's development and growth potential, which is essential for potential investors to know. Distribution channel. Distribution is one of the most effective procedures in making a fruitful startup business journey. New startups having the right distribution diverts set up, and working can expand the odds of convincing investors. Market scenario. The business wherein the startup works assume a critical function in deciding its accomplishment. Financial specialists will probably pay a higher premium for new businesses that belong to a booming sector. Understanding the significant components that impact the choice of investors is essential. Remembering such indicators in mind, the startup originators need to distinguish the adept valuation strategies to introduce its authentic and genuine value. Pre-valuation incomes. Assessing the income for a company that it makes in the underlying phase of presence impacts investors' choices. If a product is already launched in the market and drawing in the customer base, it can traverse funding without a problem. Citing a high figure may give the founders a tough stretch, as a high worth can prompt better standards and targets. On the contrary, citing a low figure can cause the founders to lose a higher equity piece to the investors. Hence, founders should be genuine and practical during the valuation cycle for better business ahead.
Please subscribe to our channel, like and comment. Hit the bell so you know when we upload new videos. Onpassive Bill Must.